Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. And finally, we are back to scripted videos once again. This is going to be the first episode of a brand new series that I will be naming Riot Rambles. As the name suggests, I will be rambling a lot and trying to talk about certain topics I've been thinking about through my time playing Genshin Impact. I will mostly be trying to point out things that aren't discussed as often and also limit my engagement in any recent events pertaining to Genshin news, because I don't want to get cancelled. Whether the topics I present are evidence-based or not will be entirely dependent on the topic of discussion itself. Of course, you can feel free to weigh in your own thoughts in the comment section down below, and let me know if there's anything you'd like my totally worthwhile take on as an almost AR60 player. And if you enjoy this type of content, please leave a like. It will help me greatly in providing the type of content you'd like to see. So without further ado, let's introduce today's focus. Damage dysmorphic disorder is a deeply rooted disease that has cemented itself into the Genshin Impact player base and has shown its effects in both low and high AR players alike. Although it isn't always visible to the naked eye, there are telltale symptoms, and you yourself are probably affected by it too, without even realizing it. If left alone, this disease can not only start affecting your in-game experience, but your mental well-being as well. And unfortunately, there isn't any medicine in the world as of right now to combat this illness. So what is damage dysmorphic disorder? I'm sure you've heard the term dysmorphia before, but the textbook definition is a deformity or abnormality in the shape or size of a specified part of the body. However, in the context of a mental disorder, the victim is perceiving something about themselves as abnormal or deformed, when in reality, there isn't anything wrong with them at all. The most common branch is known as body dysmorphia, where people see parts of themselves as unsightly or ugly, despite everyone around them thinking the complete opposite, or being totally neutral about it entirely. What does that mean for us Genshin players though? It would show itself as a player showing great disdain for their own abilities in the game, or reluctancy to use certain characters due to the fact that their character isn't displaying the damage or healing numbers that they expect themselves to reach. It could also show itself in the constant need to have your own setup look just like the people you see on YouTube, whether it be trying to grab perfect crit ratios or ignoring other important stats, or clocking in hours on Calculator Game of the Year edition to get the most optimal build. In order to find out what causes this effect, we'll be drawing another parallel to the common body dysmorphia. Anyone who's into fitness and dieting will already know what I'm going to be talking about, but for the uninformed, it is a result of being constantly exposed to social media outlets where we get to see the top performers of a certain fitness category excel, and thus give the viewer a warped benchmark to track their own individual progress. The reason social media ties so importantly into this is how platform algorithms promote this type of content. So, we will most often see the top 1% of bodybuilders or the top 1% of athletes dominating their sport and posting their performances on social media because that is what the people want to see, and that is what gets the most viewership. The dysmorphia begins to set in when we start comparing ourselves to people we don't have any right comparing ourselves to in the first place. We begin to think, I do the same exercises, why can't I do that? Or, I've been playing the same sport for just as long as this person, why can't I do what they do? So bringing the attention back to Genshin, it would be more like, my character has the exact same stats, why am I not doing as much damage? Or, I've invested just as much time into the game, why am I struggling when they aren't? I myself am also guilty of partaking in these types of videos, whether it be watching or creating them. So I also wonder, how often do we end up coming across crazy burst damage showcases or crazy domain clear speedruns on YouTube, Reddit, Twitter, or TikTok? And how often do we watch them and scroll past them without thinking too much about the process to get there? For example, what are the other 3 party members' roles in this isolated environment? How much money has this person spent on the game? Can I use this build in anywhere other than one-shotting bosses? The method of not delving into the inner workings of a person's build will drag people into this tunnel vision of perfecting only the character being showcased. So it's just like when we see elite bodybuilders, the first thing we'll notice is their huge biceps and their shredded abs. So what someone would likely commit to is doing endless bicep curls and crunches, which will lead to a totally unbalanced body. It is no one's particular fault for this illness to be spreading this way, but it is important to note that it does have lasting effects on the people afflicted. I've seen far too many people being tempted to pull for characters or weapons that they don't really need because it will make their main DPS burst hit for that much more, or going into artifact domains for days and days just to build a single character into absolute perfection. It is a massive blow to a person's confidence when they finally reach a new milestone, only to realize that some other guy reached it while sipping his morning coffee before work. It also implants an unhealthy mindset that perfect or pretty screenshots are indicative of a good build to run, such as using the red horn on anyone besides Ito and Noelle just to get that oh so sought after crit ratio, when a Skyvert Spine would be a significantly better choice, but is overwhelmed because it doesn't have either crit stats or attack as a substat, or wondering why the Raiden Shogun build that decimated the crowd Regivine is constantly failing in his Spiral Abyss floor 12. So some of these behaviors are starting to sound familiar? If they are, you aren't alone. Many people also suffer from this, even if it isn't plainly obvious. What we need to establish first is that it's totally natural to feel defeated when presented with seemingly insurmountable odds, but we mustn't jump to the immediate solution. Oftentimes, it is wise to take a step back and think. Here are a few pieces of advice I can give to help if you think you may have damage dysmorphia. Number 1. Crit ratios and single instance damage numbers is not as important as you think. Some characters can even excel even in the absence of it. Number 2. Team synergy infinitely outweighs single character carries. It doesn't mean single character carries don't work, but if you spread your building efforts throughout your team, rather than singling out any one character, you will be miles ahead in defeating the endgame content you weren't able to before. Number 3. Some characters are just naturally better than others, but every character in the game is a viable option to play. Number 4. Try to only compare your own current progress to your own past progress. That is where you'll see the most important changes. Number 5. Almost all damage build showcases are built with the intention of taking down one boss in a single hit. And that's it. Number 6. Remember, Genshin is just a game. You can let go of the pressure to succeed because there simply isn't any. The game is designed to be picked up when you feel like playing and put down when you want to do something else instead, so don't allow it to consume a chunk of your mental wellness. I hope I was able to shed some light on this topic today, but allow me to clear up some misconceptions that may arise. No, I'm not saying you're not allowed to play the way I advise against. If that's how you have fun, then please treat yourself. Secondly, there is a place for team compositions that rely on a single character carry. That is why domains allow you to retry. And secondly, this isn't actually a serious medical disorder, so please don't feel like you need to see a doctor if you experience this, especially if you live in the United States. With that out of the way, that is episode 1 of Riot Rambles. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe if you wish to see more. If there's another topic you wish for me to discuss, please comment down below. Have a wonderful day.